darlings. I recently realized something uncomfortable, really uncomfortable. A lot of the ways that I have been living, once coming from my true self, they were coming from years of conditioning and comparison. Society comparisons, the environments that I was raised in, the schools that I went to, and trying to be acceptable by society. Many of us have been raised to be people pleasers, not by choice or not by anybody's negativity or people meaning to do you wrong, but by society standards. You won't be accepted in society if you're not doing this. If you're a woman and you're not cooking, what kind of woman are you, right? So today I want to share a few things that I am not taking with me to the rest of 2026. I know that we're a few months in, but I still want to share the things that I have come to realize these past few months of 2026 that I do not want to continue with in 2026. So the first thing I'm leaving behind in 2026 is living in other people's thoughts instead of living in my own body, right? So I'll explain this with an example. For the longest time, I believed that I was not a good cook. I believed I wasn't good at cooking because cooking is not my favorite thing to do. There is no shame in cooking not being my favorite thing to do. And just because it's not my favorite thing to do does not mean that I'm not good at it, right? So whenever I was cooking for people, I would constantly think, are they going to like it? Are they going to like the way that I cook this? Is this how they would want it to be made for them, right? But when I started working in a group home where I was tasked with making food that was not from my culture, it was food I had never heard of, but the ingredients were things that I have made before. They would give me I can't give an example because it's been a while since I've been in this kind of mindset. So they'd give me a dish to prepare with ingredients in front of me, but the name I do not understand, with instructions that would drive me nuts. And then one time I just decided, hey, I'm going to make this the way I would make it. I had a couple of ingredients in front of me and I decided I was going to make it the way I was going to make a dish out of those ingredients the way I would make a dish. And once I started doing this, I would just get in there and people loved it. People would love when I made the food. The clients in the group home that I was working loved when I cooked because when I was cooking, I was in there. I would make food for them the way I would want someone to make food for me, the way I would make food for my daughter. So after that, I decided that I am a good cook. I'm good at cooking just because I don't want to be cooking all the time. I have two sisters that have a passion for cooking. My older sister will eat a spoon of food and just be testing for ingredients. She just loves to cook. And because I grew up around women that just love to cook, I thought because I don't really love to cook like that, I'm not a good cook. So my food was presented with love, with focus. I was cooking, I was present and flowing and just going with the flow, measuring out the spices the way I would want them measured, right? So I'm leaving the habit of stepping outside of my body and managing other people's opinions because that is something that is not in my control. 2, I'm leaving behind shrinking myself to fit other people's expectations. So growing up, it was normal to be compared. Comparison was a norm. It was used to encourage you to be better. You were compared to your siblings, your classmates, you were compared to other women. And without realizing it, you start moving through life with the hidden belief that you need to adjust who you are in order to be acceptable. That belief can follow you into friendships, into workspaces. The worst place that can follow you is into romantic relationships because you will find yourself adjusting yourself. My aim when I'm in a romantic relationship is spending the rest of my life with this person. When you're dating someone, you're navigating if this is the kind of person that you would want to spend the rest of your life with. Now, if you're adjusting yourself consistently to fit other people, to fit this person's liking, is that how you want to live the rest of your life, really? So I'm realizing more and more that the right people do not connect to the version of you that's edited for approval. They connect with your authentic self, the person that's present with them, the person that's relaxed in her own presence, the person that's comfortable in their own skin. I realize that other people's strengths do not have to be your strengths. When somebody has the strength, if somebody is really good at cooking and you're not as good as they are, you have other strengths outside of cooking. It does not define you when you're not good at one thing. So be more present with yourself so you are able to discover your own strength. Number three, dating through other people's expectations. I am leaving behind the habit of dating through other people's eyes, through other people's expectations instead of my own standards. I've done a lot of work to get myself where I am today. And so I have developed my standards to my liking. Now, if I'm dating someone that I want to, someone that I'm, because dating is collecting information. So, what kind of information am I collecting according to the standards that I have built for myself? What do I want in a partner? In my culture, when you're dating for marriage. You're dating, and the next step after dating, they don't expect you to be dating for a long time. I don't concur with dating forever. You're dating with a purpose. So in my culture, when you're dating, if there's an expectation that the next thing is put a ring on it, mister. But once people know that you're dating or you're seeing someone, there's a potential life partner, they start telling you how you should behave. What at some point my friends literally dressed me for a first date with someone. Well, she dressed me to my liking and it was okay, but they will tell you what men like. This is what men like in women. This is how you should show up as a woman because this is what men like, right? This is what men like this. And then they'll find out details about his personal preferences and they'll take it upon themselves to let you know that this is what he's looking for in a partner. So try and be these, try to be that. And in that, they're low-key letting you know that you are not enough as you are. And if you find yourself not exposed to the recent content that we consume, encouraging you to be yourself, empowering you to step into your power, you'll continue to date with the idea that you're not enough, that you have to mold yourself so you can be chosen. When everyone around you is focused on preparing you to be chosen, you start acquiring a quiet anxiety when you're dating. Is he going to like me? Am I looking good? Does this dress look good? You are supposed to be focusing on how you're feeling in that person's presence. You're supposed to be focusing on what is he doing? How is he showing up? How am I feeling in his presence? So I'm leaving behind the habit of dating in a place of seeking for approval and replacing it with dating for an alignment. I'm looking for the missing puzzle, in the missing piece in my life's puzzle. We gotta be aligned in what's it called? Values. You gotta be aligned in values. So we need to emphasize leaning towards amplifying a woman's strengths, boosting her confidence, making sure she's in position to show up as her best self, feeling good in her body and feeling good in the clothes that she's wearing, choosing the clothes that feel good when she puts it on, because how you feel on the inside reflects on the outside. If you're going to walk out of your house feeling like, oh my God, this dress is so tight, but this is what people like, you're going to show up as a very uncomfortable woman. And that does not look cute. You're not going to look cute when you feel uncomfortable. So you have to feel good from the inside and it reflects on the outside no matter what you're wearing. The last point that I want to make is I'm leaving behind silencing my intuition. Everybody has intuition, but as women, our intuition is amplified. We feel through situations. We have that instincts. When you have a child, they call it a mother's instinct. When your child is not okay, you can feel it. When you walk into a room and it feels off, like your intuition is screaming. So many of us were raised to be people pleasers, right? You were told to be accommodating, you were told to be agreeable, you were told to be a good girl. Good girls agree. They say yes, they put a smile, they don't show their emotions, they don't express when they're feeling uncomfortable. That conditioning has taught us to stay quiet when things feel off. That inner voice, your intuition, is there for a reason. So, moving forward, I'm choosing to listen more carefully to what I'm feeling in my body. Do I feel safe? Do I feel respected? Do I feel at peace in this situation, be it at a job or in a dating scenario or a friendship? Because honoring your intuition is not selfish, it is self-respect. Something I have realized will help you is acknowledging your strengths. We tend to lean more towards our weaknesses because most of the people around us tend to shed a light more on our weaknesses and not amplify our strengths, because it is believed that when you amplify someone's strengths, it boosts their ego. Although, when you show up knowing your strengths, it helps you show up as your true self. It helps you acknowledge internally that you are more than good enough. And that alone will help you decipher situations that do not feel good for you, that are not right for you, because you might stay with someone because you're supposed to be with someone. But at the end of the day, you don't feel safe. It doesn't feel right when you're with them. You're bloated, you're like panicky, you just need to be able to stay present in your body and listen for what your body is saying. God gave you an amplified intuition for a reason, to protect you. Your intuition is God's whisper to you that this is either the right situation for you or it's not the right situation for you. Your body is always going to react to whatever situation you're in. It's either you're calm or you're fidgety, you're bloated or you're fine. And it will help you choose wisely situations you put yourself in. Intuition is like a muscle. The more you practice listening to your intuition, the stronger the muscle gets. The stronger it will be, the louder it will be, the clearer it will be. So these are a few things I am intentionally leaving behind for the rest of this year. And if you're watching this, I want you to ask yourself this: what habits or beliefs have you been carrying with you still when you already outgrew them? Because growth is not always about adding new things to your life. Sometimes it's about letting go of the things that do not work for you anymore. You have done the work. You have grown into a whole different woman. When you're growing up and you start developing teeth, as a baby, you have milk teeth and then they fall out and you grow the teeth that you have now as an adult. So even growth in life sometimes requires you to let go of the things that do not fit your identity anymore. It requires you to release the identity you had, that you have practiced being in. The person you've practiced being, you have repeated certain habits, certain activities that have led to who you are today. And if who you are today, you continuously grow intentionally, you will release some of the habits naturally. Be open to releasing the things that don't fit into your life anymore.